Minutes after the top of the hour, does President Obama's new strategy of limiting the use of our nuclear arsenal leave the U.S. more vulnerable or make us safer? With us for a fair and balanced debate are Rick Grenell, former spokesman for the U.S. representative to the United Nations, and Joseph Cirincione, president of Plowshares Fund. He's also former director for non-proliferation at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. Whew, those are some big titles. Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Morning.
All right, Rick, let me start with you. Safer now that the president is going over to Russia to sign this treaty and basically saying that, the U.S. is not going to strike back and we want to reduce our nuclear arsenal?
Well, look, Americans have watched enough movies to understand that the good guys don't lay down their weapons first, right? The good guys usually say to the bad guys, lay down your weapons and then we can talk. This announcement from the Obama administration is based on the erroneous assumption that if we Americans will lay down our weapons first, that others are just going to follow suit. And that's an academic argument that may work in a law school classroom, but it doesn't work when dealing with terrorists.
Joseph?
It's very naive.
Joe?
Rick is absolutely right, but that is not at all what the president is doing. Nobody's talking about unilateral disarmament. The president's got a step-by-step plan. What he's going to be doing in Prague tomorrow with the Russian president is drawing down the arsenals together. We have a Cold War arsenal of about 10,000 nuclear weapons. We just don't need them for the threats of today to stop nuclear terrorism, stop new states. So you draw it down together.
But isn't the whole point, Rick, here that we're trying to stop these rogue states, which, by the way, they don't even call them rogue anymore. Under Obama, they call them outliers. But isn't that the whole mission here, to stop Iran and North Korea? And does this mission stop that?
Well, look, it's a great point. Wait, let me just finish. There's two things. One, if we're going to deal with Iran and North Korea, then let's deal with them and let's bring the UN in. It's been a year and a half since this administration has done anything at the UN or brought any ally on board to have some strong measures against Iran or North Korea. So put that aside. The real problem is with non-state actors. We've got people who don't work through their governments trying to attack us. The good guys and the bad guys here, the bad guys are not going to just lay down their weapons. It's not a negotiation. This isn't a law school classroom. This is real world with terrorists, and they're not going to follow suit. We can't just hold hands and sing Kumbaya.
Joseph,
this is so naive and dangerous.
Joseph, just because the president and the Russian president tomorrow signed this treaty, does that mean that Kim Jong-il in North Korea and Ahmadinejad in Iran are going to suddenly just go, oh, yes, now we get it. We're not going to do nukes anymore?
Well, of course not, but that's a phony argument, and Rick's argument is totally naive by itself.
What's a phony
argument? Maybe he hasn't read the posture review. This is not designed to get Kim Jong-il to follow our example. This is designed exactly the opposite, to build up the international cooperation you need to put a cage around Kim Jong-il, to contain
That is
Iran,
a left-wing fantasy. That is a left-wing fantasy that we are ever going to have some sort of agreement with terrorists.
Who the hell do you think you are talking to me like that? This is something that's got the support of the Secretary of Defense, the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Are you calling Bob Gates naive? Do you think
let me
General
just say
Cartwright,
that if you read the real,
is naive? You don't know what you're talking about, man.
Well, read the background on this, because Gates was dragged to this. This was not something that he wanted to happen.
Absolutely baloney. He was the first one out on the podium yesterday. He endorses this 100% because he understands that it's not a right-wing fantasy of what the Soviets look like.
Guys,
does Hillary Clinton support this? Because she certainly has not been on board.
That would be interesting to get her opinion on this. Guys, I got to wrap it up, unfortunately. Rick and Joseph, thank you very much for the very spirited debate. Appreciate it, especially so early in the morning. Thank you very much. Coming up, the IRS launching a new program.